Hi,
Hi.
I'm Sandy Walden, your master grief coach and coach trainer from Serenity. Today, it is my extreme pleasure to introduce all of you to Grace Redwood. Grace is kind of fabulous, and I think you're going to want to get to know her more.
You're sweet.
No, there's no payment exchange for this. Grace is really very special. She is a guide and a mentor, author and speaker, and she empowers women to find their wise voice within. So Grace, can you tell me a little bit about what brings you to coaching?
Well, I was doing it unknowingly for a very long time. I have done a spiritual path since I was very little, and decades of learning and training and courses and reading and going to different gurus who have been all over the world and all kinds of things, seeking and seeking and seeking to try to find anything to fill that void within. It felt like there was something I was missing, that I wasn't fulfilling my purpose and destiny. And I taught yoga for over 20 years, and that did help me a lot in as far as being able to get my physical body in alignment with my mental body and spiritually as well. But it was more for me to get out of the medical issues that I was having and to be able to have it be that mind-body connection that then led into people asking me about my healthy eating and living habits. I changed and became a vegan over 20 years ago, which back then nobody even heard the word around by where I live. And then I got cancer and had to go gluten free. So that was also prior to the gluten free movement that is now out there. So it was a little more challenging. And people knew that I was kind of heading out that way before anybody else. So they would ask me things, and then they would also ask me about, well, how did you handle, having cancer and going through traumas that you've been through of abusive relationships and divorce and different things like that. And growing up in a little challenging environment, and could go on. But they've kind of known little bits and pieces, having worked with me in yoga, where I'll talk about, hips will open up childhood issues, and, so things would come up. And by having them ask me things, I didn't realize, but I was coaching. And it just felt like a natural thing. And I had taken some training a while ago, but it didn't really resonate with me. And when I met you and found your style to be my style, what I'd been doing, that conversational style, that authentic style, that non-scripted style, that's when it really sunk in that, oh yeah, I'm definitely a teacher. That is why I was put here. But yet coaching is an aspect of teaching with a lot more listening. And so I learned that part, and I believe that it just all fits with everything that I am moving towards doing in my life, which is basically a conglomeration of all I've learned over the 6 decades I've been on this earth. Long answer, I know.
Nope, it's perfect. It's perfect. I love your authenticity and honesty because people want to know you before they work with you. And as they work with you, I bet they're going to know a lot more about you. So something that I've gotten to know about you is how important nature is to you. Can you tell me a little bit more about how nature feeds your soul and how that serves you when you're working with clients?
Yeah, from a little child on, I found nurturing and healing through nature. And as I've gotten older, different issues have come up, and like say for abundance issues. Okay. So there's been times in my life where I've been extremely worried about money. There was a time I had 2 young children and we were about that close to being homeless. And it was nothing short of a miracle that we weren't. And so there's been times that things have been really, really rough. And I was kind of raised with a lack mentality. But when I go into nature, it's so abundant. And there was a time I just was so upset and I went under a tree and I just looked up and I started counting the leaves because my mind was racing and I couldn't shut it up and I was really scared. And I realized, oh my God, there's no way I can count this many leaves. And I turned to a pine bough, and that pine bough had more needles than the leaves I was counting on the trees. And I'm just like, there's abundance everywhere. And if nature has this kind of abundance for trees, it has it for me. I just need to be open to it. And my energy was so blocked from allowing it. It's always there, but I wasn't allowing it because I was so afraid. I was believing that there wasn't enough for everyone. And then I started thinking, oh, well, you know, when you teach yoga, you teach about breath. You never worry about, is there going to be enough oxygen for me to breathe? I don't think we think about that unless, of course, now with COVID, people do, but unless there's an illness or a disease, we don't think about it. We just breathe. And there's enough oxygen for everyone. Even if you do have a harsh time and a lung disease, there's still enough oxygen in the air, right? It's just, we're not getting it for one reason or another. So it's that kind of abundance. And I love to connect myself with trees because of my last name. And trees need pruning to thrive and survive. And they will survive without it, but they won't last as long. They won't be as healthy. They won't be as strong. And they won't be as fruitful and abundant without pruning. So I kind of consider myself as a coach, as a pruner. I help people to do their own pruning, to tell me what is the parts of them that no longer serves them. We find that out and we prune it to the point where it doesn't come back. Because if you prune correctly, that doesn't come back. You're done, you're healed. Nature naturally seals that pruning with a callus that will not allow any diseases, any infections to come in. And I like to think of that as a picture of how to heal, because we can rip off a branch, we can break it off, but it's going to regrow, and it's going to regrow pretty scraggly, and it's not going to help that tree. That tree's going to take energy for that branch into an area that isn't going to serve that tree for its main strength. So you need to prune it properly. And that's kind of the way I'm looking at my coaching is I'm here to help you prune properly.
I love that. I love that. I think that's really powerful and important, because as I hear you speaking, I don't hear that you're going to climb the tree and do the work, but you're going to help me to understand how to take care of that myself, how it's going to be best for me to make these shifts. And then you're going to trust me and support me while I do it. That's what I'm hearing from you.
Absolutely. That's the important part. You know, you're the tree, you're the one that's going to decide which branch is dead and what needs to fall. But, you know, guiding you to be able to see through the leaves, through all the extra foliage, that maybe there's some parts that are so dense, it's not allowing new light, new growth to come in. And it's just a matter of, let's look at where you are, how your tree looks, how you look, how much stuff and how much extra things are in your head and in your life. Because although I don't consider myself a minimalist, I consider myself a simplistic person. So I like things to be simple and clear. And when I wrote my books, that was the one thing that the critics said, is that they felt like my directions were clear and concise. So I really like to be able to speak in the language people understand, which I believe is just, let's cut to the chase. Let's get simple. Let's find out what's the easiest, quickest, and best way for me to move forward. So that's what I'm doing with that particular thing. Sorry, I've got a notice coming in. I hope you don't hear that, but if you do, well, that's life.
This is real life,
Life's hard, and I'm talking about simplicity. How funny is that, right? Although one of the things that I do use technology for is 3 times a day, I will send myself an alert to remind myself of things that I need to kind of just perk up on.
I love that. No, I kind of like that happened, because it does. Things interrupt us. Things show up. It doesn't mean that we're done talking. It doesn't mean the conversation is derailed. It just means stuff happens, and that's life. So Grace, if I'm a person walking the planet just like I am, how do I know that you're the right coach for me? Who is going to be best served by you?
Well, I like to focus on women of mature age who have become either empty nesters, or their kids are in college or gone and grown, and like mine are grown and gone, and I have grandkids and stuff. So now it's their time, because women, especially my age category, we were taught that we put everybody else first, and now it's our time, right? So I know a lot of women are looking at like, oh my gosh, who the heck am I now? Who do I want to become? I know who I was, but that doesn't really fit now. So it's just women that are looking to find a direction, guidance for their next path, ways that they can feel they're finding that wise voice within, which is what I consider deeper than intuition. It is that true connection to the highest self, whether you want to call that your infinite presence, God, divinity, whatever you want to call it. But it's really connecting to that spark of creativity from the divine that's inside of us. And that's where you're going to find your answers for everything. You're going to find out who you are, what you want to do with your next stage in life. Just how do I feel calm and at peace with who I am? How do I feel with my body changing? How do I feel with my face? I look in the mirror, I'm like, who the heck is that? Because that isn't who I think it is in here, right? And how do you connect with that, and how do you accept that and embrace that? Because that's where we find the peace, when we embrace the moments that we're in now. And sometimes it's hard, because it's like, I got married when I was 17, so I missed a lot of the life that most people have. And I could ruminate on that, and for years I did, but now it's like, I'm lucky because I had this block of time when I was a certain age, and I didn't have my kids at home. I mean, it's all perception.
Beautiful. That's really powerful. So I'm just so excited. I'm just so excited to introduce you to everybody, and I'm honored to have been able to train you as a coach. And I know people are going to have such amazing success working with you, because you have incredible wisdom. You always did, and you have various experiences which are powerful. So it's been a real pleasure training you. And I'm going to ask straight out, Grace, why would you suggest that somebody else contact me to train to be a coach?
Because of your style, your authenticity, your direct, but in a very compassionate, empathetic way. So in other words, you're the type of person that will be able to listen, but also won't let people stray off the path they asked you to guide them on. And you taught me how to help people do that, how to listen and watch for signs they might not be aware of. One of the big things we talked about in our training was watching for body language, watching for voice inflections, watching for the sounds, and not just the words, right? So we're not just trying to take notes and hear what they say. We're paying attention to the person, and the person is an individual. Every single time they show up with you, it's not just, oh, I'm seeing Sally today, so I got Sally in a box, and this is, no, Sally is going to be different Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and probably every hour of each day, right? So it's how are they showing up every time. And that's one of the things that I really learned from you. So I feel very blessed to have taken the training with you. Like I said, I took one before and no. So
we all find our own way, don't we?
yeah, and just because someone says they're a coach, we really need to understand what style and methodology that they use and how were they trained, and are they a right fit? Is their personality a right fit? And you know, what are they going to do? How are they going to approach their session? And I had really felt that that was what you did, and how you approach your sessions is how I wanted to approach them. So by taking your training, it really guided me on how to do that. I'm really appreciative of what you taught me.
It was an honor, and I'm thrilled that people are getting to know you a little bit now. And we're going to have more of these conversations because there's always more to explore. So Grace, I want you to know that anybody who's listening to this, Grace's contact information is going to be written along with this, and it will, I don't know if it's above or below or next door. It sort of depends on finding it, but it'll be there. But Grace, would you mind verbally tell us how someone can reach out and find you if they're looking to contact you right away?
Okay. I'm on Facebook, and I have a Facebook page. You'd go to Grace Redwood Teaching. And then I also am on Instagram. It's Grace_M_Redwood. And I have a website, graceredwood.com. So that one is still in the tweaking stage, but if you go on there, you should have the landing page. And I've got a really awesome gift I really believe will help you on your path to finding that wise voice within, with or without me. So please sign up for that and get that immediately. It's a one-page document, but it is not something you're going to go through in a minute or two. It's going to take some real serious consideration if you really want to get something out of it.
Oh, I love that you're giving people homework right away.
Yeah, that's my homework. But that's how you keep it rolling, you know? If you want to make more progress, sometimes you got to make more effort. And it's not really effort. I guess that word isn't great because effort makes it sound like it's a drudgery. But if you really want to see progress, there is that extra steps that you take that get you there faster. And that's what we do. That's what she trained me to do. That's what we do. So
I'm excited, and I'm grateful that you shared this time with me. And I know that people are definitely going to benefit when they contact you and they take that step to walk along with you, because you are an exceptional guide. There's no doubt in my mind. So thank you for sharing with me today, Grace.
Thank you. Namaste.
And I'd like to thank you for taking a little bit of time for watching Grace and I. I'm Sandy Walden of Serenity, your master grief coach and life coach trainer. So you can find me at www.sandywalden.com. And I'm on Facebook, but I don't know the links. That'll be below as well. So again, thank you for being here, and we'll talk very soon. Namaste.